I know there are some people that are going to say, RGT, you're essentially beating a dead horse here, talking about Xbox once again. But I actually completely disagree with that, because the thing about a dead horse situation is there's nothing new happening. There's nothing new to add to the conversation. It's already been talked about. Then you kind of move on to the next thing. When it comes to Xbox, it seems like every single day decisions are being made in the public eye. Decisions are being made in the private eye. Interviews are being given that shows a little bit more insight into the future of Xbox as a brand. And it's a very telling sort of thing. And of course, I'm going to share my opinions on it because I want Xbox to succeed, but I just don't think that there's much time left for Xbox as a brand. I honestly think that Microsoft is actively trying to get rid of Xbox as a brand, and this is kind of their way of doing it by making rash decisions that don't really line up, talking about things like extended profit margins, lying to the consumer bases. And today I have two stories in conjunction with each other that pretty much just show me this whole thing is quickly coming to a close. Like it's over. It's over at this point in time. So if you enjoyed this sort of coverage on Xbox with no, unnecessary positivity thrown into the mix, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I'm just going to keep it real with you guys on how I see things happening and how I see things playing out. So, of course, the first thing we're going to talk about is Halo Combat Evolved, or Halo Campaign Evolved, as it is now known. Halo, one of the biggest IPs and honestly the face of the Xbox brand. Many people consider Master Chief to be right up there with someone like Mario for Nintendo when it comes to Master Chief for the Xbox brand. It was the reason why people bought Xboxes back in the day. You had to play the new Halo game, you wanted to get on the sticks and see what the newest game was all about. Halo Campaign Evolved is essentially a remake of the original campaign from Halo 1, which, if you know anything about me, I don't play Halo campaigns. Like much like Call of Duty stuff, I've always been more so into the multiplayer aspect of these games. But Halo Campaign Evolved is definitely changing things up. They are adding in some additional content in the form of prelude content. Essentially what happens a little bit before the story, but I guess it happens after Halo Reach, since Halo Reach was kind of a prequel to the Halo franchise and whatnot. They're adding in 4-player online multiplayer for the campaign portion of the game, so now you can play with 4 people in the game. They're adding in some different things here and there, and of course, the game has a brand new graphical engine. I do think on a technical level, the new engine definitely looks very nice. It doesn't really have sort of that same art style as the original Halo did. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, I guess, what the original Halo art style was, but it definitely feels different from that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It definitely looks a lot more modern in terms of how the game is going to be, played out when it comes to the Halo universe. Now, this game is coming out in 2026, and it's launching day and date on PlayStation 5 as well. Halo Master Chief on PlayStation 5 finally, with a somewhat of a new game, I guess you would call it, because this is a remake of the original Halo campaign that is also coming out on Xbox, is coming out on PlayStation 5 on the same day. And it's just like, I could sit here and talk about this for a very, very long time, but like, the writing has been on the wall. There has been no reason to believe that this game, as it had been sort of rumored and potentially leaked at times, was ever going to be an Xbox exclusive game or be a timed Xbox exclusive or anything like that. Now, strangely enough, there is no multiplayer in this game. So I don't even, like, maybe I'll run through it with Spawnwave and Nate and MVG to do the campaign, since it does have, up to 4 people now. That might be kind of interesting to me. I do think it is very strange that there is no multiplayer, but obviously the main focus here is the fact that this is coming out on PlayStation 5 day and date. Your arguably biggest IP, your mascot, the face of Xbox. What did Phil Spencer say? If you lose Halo, you lose Xbox. It's just like, It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that this is happening. You know, if you would have gotten in a time machine and told someone 15 years ago that a new Halo game was coming out on both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox day and date, they would have looked at you like you would have been put into an insane asylum. I don't know if we still had those 15 years ago. I don't think they exist anymore, but they would have put you into a padded cell. Like, that just sounds so bizarre. But that is Xbox. But buy our consoles. Buy our consoles, even though we're putting our biggest and best games on everywhere. Now, there has been no Nintendo Switch 2 version announced. Some people are skeptical as to whether or not that's going to happen. I do think it will. When you kind of look at how Xbox things have been dealt on the Nintendo Switch 2, you know, the two main games, besides something smaller like Tony Hawk 3, of course, Indiana Jones is coming out in 2026. So I think there is, you know, sort of a belief behind it. Same thing with Fallout 4, which is another Xbox game. I just don't think Microsoft Studios, for whatever reason, got the dev kits in time, probably because Nintendo thought they were trolling. Like, okay, you're not putting everything on these other platforms. There's no way. You want to see what we have. You want to see what we're doing. But no, that is indeed the truth. And then this parlays perfectly, or segues perfectly, into the second portion of Xbox pretty much is saying, hey, it's over here, is that Phil Spencer did an interview with Famitsu very recently, and boy, oh boy, just say the quiet part out loud and still lie. You still lied during this little interview segment, but you said the quiet part out loud that nobody wants to hear if they are involved in the Xbox ecosystem, unless it's someone that you took out to lunch, because those are the only people that are talking positively about you right now. We're making efforts to lower the barrier to entry for play to We're making efforts to lower the barrier to entry for people to play our games through services like Xbox Play Anywhere and Xbox Game Pass. However, if there are people who want to play our games on the PlayStation 5 or the Nintendo Switch 2, we would love for them to play our games on those platforms. In that regard, we have received excellent support from both Sony Interactive Entertainment and Nintendo. So where's the lie in this? Well, you're saying that you're lowering the barrier to entry with things like Xbox Game Pass. That's a lie. You need a device to be able to play Xbox Game Pass on. And if you do Xbox Game Pass, you'll want to be able to play these games natively. And you just raise the price of Game Pass. Now, you could do PC Game Pass, sure, but you said Xbox Game Pass, which I guess they are one and the same nowadays, but that's still like a very sort of tongue-in-cheek thing. Like, we want you to play on our system with Xbox Game Pass, but if you also want to buy the games too, like, that's cool. You can play on your system. We don't care. And it's like, at what point in time do you just give up the hardware? That's where it is over for you, Xbox. With hardware. That is what everyone is saying. Nobody is sitting here and saying that Xbox isn't publishing a ton of games. They have published a ton of games this year. Some games that I have really enjoyed. Games that I'm currently playing right now, like Ninja Gaiden 4. Nobody is talking about the games side of Xbox because that has been doing well. But it's doing well in spite of your consoles. Because now you're giving access for people to play these games who don't want to buy your console. So why are you still messing with consoles? I said months ago on the Spawncast that I felt like Xbox does not care about selling consoles anymore. And people push back, going, well, why would they make them? Why would they make them? Is the writing on the wall not clear enough for you now? Why would they make them? What is the point of the next-gen console for Xbox? To bridge the gap between PC and consoles, but it's not going to be a traditional console that will appeal to the traditional console gamer. It's not going to be a console that will appeal to the PC gamer because the PC gamer is getting better specs and better performance and can upgrade their system at any time they want. I have no problem with Xbox's publishing department, but it is over for your hardware, and it's time to admit that. Instead of stringing people along and trying to give them some hope and belief that, no, consoles are still our thing, handheld devices are still our thing, you basically had the ROG system is just a branded ROG system with Xbox stuff on it. A minuscule amount of Xbox stuff, but it still plays like a handheld PC like we have had for literally years now. I don't understand why you think that the Xbox brand, when it comes to consoles, is still a valuable thing, because it's not. The sun has set. It's over. Just leave consoles, because that's what you want to do. You don't want to compete. That's the problem. You're just like a lump on a log. Just there. You're just there. You're not trying to compete. You're not trying to get people to buy Xbox consoles, because if you were, you wouldn't be increasing the prices twice in 2025. You would be trying to find cheaper alternatives, not make premium systems with curated experiences. You don't care about the console sales. You're not competing in the console market. So just leave it at this point in time. It's done. It's over. You have become Sega. But at least Sega went out with the fight. They went out with a bang. And Xbox, you're going out with a whimper. These are just my thoughts, though. I am just, as I sit here, thinking about all this, it's just like, what the hell are you going to do next? What's next? We're dropping the Xbox Series S. Like, I fully expect something bizarre to happen this week or come out this week, because that's just how things have been for Xbox. If you look at it from just strictly the game side, like a lot of Xbox fanboys do, it has been good. But those games haven't resonated with system sales. And you could say whatever you want about traditional consoles, because yes, eventually they will go away. But we are not at that point right now. The PlayStation 5 is selling well. The Nintendo Switch 2 is selling well. The Xbox could have been selling well, but I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their focus is. And I think more importantly, they don't know what their focus is, but they need that 30% profit margin across the board. Crazy. I think 2026, bro, the amount of layoffs that are going to happen at Microsoft is going to dwarf this year. It's going to dwarf this year, pal. Because they're going to have to restructure this division. The things that they are trying, the things that the CEO and the CFO are trying are not going to work. Anyone with a functioning brain could figure out you're not going to get a 30% profit margin. You are well beyond the realm of the normal company. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the video from 2 days ago. Because Microsoft has very high expectations for Xbox that it will not meet. It literally can't. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you think I'm being too overdramatic? And if so, that's fine. It's just your opinion. Just like this is my opinion. But in my opinion, what are we doing? What are we doing? Just pack it up. You don't give a shit about these consoles. Stop making them. Be a software company. And you'll probably do better. It'll help your bottom line. Like, you have IPs that people want to play. You wouldn't be bogged down with these systems and crap. I don't know. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.